Hi, Steve. This is Tad again, and I appreciate you taking the time meeting with me today. You know, as I was thinking about our time together this morning, I was remembering a book written a number of years ago by Stephen Covey called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one of those key habits was to begin with the end in mind. And I think that's true whether you're thinking about launching a business venture or developing a retirement plan or a marketing strategy for that matter. You need to know where you're going to end up in order to know exactly how to build a roadmap to get there. So that's my goal today, is really to talk through a strategy for development from where you are now to where you ultimately want to end up. And in the end, really, it's all about the needs of your business, the customers that you want to attract, and the capacity that you have to grow. And we'll focus on a number of key areas, such as what you look like online, how that shows up in main search pages on Google, Yahoo, and Bing, opportunities that you have to piggyback on people like Dex Knows and other online providers of content, and then ultimately what you look like in your local print directory. And we'll develop some strategies for all of those to help you reach your goals. Does that sound fair? So let's start with really the beginning, your market. In this case, you're a regional player in the tour business, and as you know, if you're looking in the Holy Land Tours here in Rochester, Minnesota, right now edventures.com is #1 organic placement. So you have the opportunity to immediately connect with an active buyer audience using main search engines to look for what you do. Congratulations, that's a great placement. That is absolutely worth money to your business. But when you look at other markets and other types of offerings that you have, such as Ireland Tours, St. Louis, because you had mentioned St. Louis, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Kansas City as being active markets for your types of offerings, the landscape changes. And as you notice, there's new players, new competitors, as well as new information. And frankly, at this point, you are invisible. There's no message there, so you're missing out on the opportunity to reach those markets when consumers are in the process of search. And educational tours in Minneapolis, Minnesota, this would be a keen example of how a Google search works. And I think it's important for us to talk about the two areas where you really impact an audience on search. First of all, SEO and SEM, just meaningful phrases that simply mean search engine optimization is how do you get your website built so that it's found on the free side of search in that organic section where we all look. And in fact, about 2/3 of all search will pick something from the organic section, and they usually start at the top and they work their way down. The other one is SEM, or search engine marketing, and that's really how do I put effective paid messages in the top and right-hand side of Google, Yahoo, and Bing, and other parts of their network where I can put messages to reach the audience that I want to reach when they're in the process of search and they're ready to buy. So those are the two key areas that we'll be talking about: top and right-hand side search engine marketing, organic section, and figuring out strategies to get messages where your best buyers are going to be found. I was looking in your industry and noticed a really keen example of a major company that has really followed a good roadmap. Now again, you're not CostcoTravel.com, and we know that. You're a very different kind of company, but you can learn some best practices from a company like Costco, and by just simply understanding what kinds of actions they've taken over time. This analytic gives us an idea of what Costco is doing in both paid search, in monthly pay-per-click budget, as well as what they've done on the organic section of search. So for example, it looks like around the end of 2011, Costco embarked on a fairly aggressive involvement in paid search. Now also during that time, they were involved in search engine optimization, building an online property and getting their website to be found on the free side of search in the markets and for the keywords that they want. So what you see over time is, as much as they were aggressive in the beginning in paid search, eventually that paid search came down to a fairly standardized moderate level, because the traffic that they were then driving with an organically placed website is huge. That's because about 2/3 of all search picks something from that free side. And again, they start at the top, work their way down. That's why placement at the top of a Google search page in the organic section can be absolute money to your business. Now again, you're not CostcoTravel.com, but in terms of that strategy of using paid search to capitalize an SEO program and then building an SEO program to the point where you're getting more traffic driven by your free placement than you are by your paid is a great best practice in our industry. So let's start at the beginning with your website. Really, that's your story to tell. It's the foundation of any online strategy. It's your 24/7 sales tool. A few things I like about this. First of all, you've got very nice content. I've gone through the different tabs and subpages of your website. You've got very good information for faith-based tours and guaranteed departures and academic travel. Your testimonials page is actually rich with content, and it's easy for people to make contact with you since your contact information, including your social links, is right at the top. It's visually attractive. Frankly, I would like to be in that boat right there. What a beautiful day and what a beautiful setting. And I think it's well constructed for the audience that you want to reach. Some of the opportunities that you have with your website. First of all, mobile optimization. Here's what we know. There's a Pew Research study that was just published. A little over 90% of all U.S. adults have cell phones, and right now about 60% of those are smart, and that number is escalating rapidly. When you look at how people interact with information online and how quickly they go from the point of study to the point of contact using a mobile device, it's critical these days that people be able to find your information, your website, on their mobile device in a clear and compelling way. Right now, your website is not mobile optimized, meaning that you have to do a two-finger spread when you pull up that opening page and hope to be able to read it. A mobile optimized website should be able to be scrolled with your thumb and have one button functionality, one button click to call, highly readable, one button page, one button website, one button click to contact. It's very easy to do. Your current web provider should be able to do that for you. If they can't, let's talk and make sure that gets completed. Second opportunity really is that organic visibility outside of Rochester. As I showed you a couple of key examples on Google, being able to be found in that free side of search in the markets where you really want to be. Minneapolis-St. Paul is a big emphasis for you, Kansas City, and St. Louis. Being able to be found in those markets on the top half of a Google search page, I think is a critically important venture for you to take. And then finally, a real lack of an active SEM or search marketing program to drive traffic. Ultimately, you want to be able to reach key people who are looking for specific types of tours that you offer. Holy Land tour, whiskey tour, Ireland tour, Rome tour, European tour. There's a number of types of tour packages, and as you mentioned, it's anywhere from 2 people typically traveling together, or whole bus loads of 30 to 45 individuals that you make money on. So I think reaching that audience will be helpful to you. Now here's some more detailed information on your website. We run it through an analytical tool that gives us a fairly decent snapshot of what the strengths and weaknesses of a website look like. Right now you're at 51 out of 100 score, which is really not bad. There's some opportunities, but it's really not bad at all. Your Google rank is currently 3 out of 10. Very typical for a small business to start at 0, and from 0 to 3 would be a typical small business. From 3 to 5, a regional player. 5 to 7, a well-developed national player. And then anything above that is going to be government, educational institutions, or Google, Yahoo, and Bing themselves. Below that, you've got some very good metrics, site metrics, both the construction, the length of time you've been in the market, and the fact that you own your domain through 2017 are all advantages for you. Google's picked up an awful lot of your information, Yahoo and Bing less so. That is something that's usually best addressed in a good search engine optimization program. They'll help address the content being picked up by other online parties. But when you think about Google really being the whale in the room, you've got some decent indexed information with them. Now, part of a good online strategy these days, much like you do, when you go online, you want to be able to see information about yourself and be able to talk to others who have had experiences. That whole idea of ratings and reviews and other people sharing information about vendors that you can then trust the fact that it's either good or bad. Critical that a business like yourself monitor your online visibility, your social buzz, and your ratings and reviews so that you can both interact with those positive experiences and let them know, thank you so much, we appreciate your business, please refer us, and turn them really into raving fans. But you can also minimize any damage that might happen from a negative review, regardless of whether that review is accurate or not. And as you know, anyone can say anything online, and sometimes competitors or disgruntled former employees or individuals with an agenda can and do say things about your business. Critical that you know, critical that you are being able to respond to that. So So we'll talk about strategies I think that can help you do that. So here's your social media presence on Facebook, and as we know, social media is huge. More people will spend time and look at Facebook each day than actually search on Google. The number of hours that are involved in interaction on social media by the average U.S. adult is huge on a monthly basis. And of course, it's really the 21st century version of word of mouth. Where do people go when they want to ask a question about, hey, if you're looking for a guy that can take us to Europe and give us a great time, who did you use? This is where your information needs to be. And right now you have a nicely developed page with some recent information put on. 12 hours ago we had a post for the Tanzania trip. Again, that's a place I'd like to be. I think one of the opportunities you have, though, is to broaden your audience. Right now you have about 211 likes. If you compare yourself to a really well-developed competitor in your vertical, you mentioned EF Tours as one of your key competitors. Right now they have a page with about 154,000 individuals who like their page, which means they will get a chance to see their news feed. And can you imagine, what does it mean to your business when you have 154,000 people who have willingly participated in saying, I like your page and I'm willing for you to send me a piece of information from time to time? You send them something that's meaningful and they pass that on to their friends. Even if you had half of 1% of them positively respond to that, how many potential transactions can you get just from your warm market based on a news feed from Facebook? That's why social media is so critical. And of course, multiple platforms these days. Facebook is huge, but also Twitter and LinkedIn and Google Plus are critical, important platforms to be able to reach an audience on. Again, DexKnows conversion page. DexKnows.com, as you know, is an online property that's proprietary to Dex. It's a huge and important information source for people when they're looking for local products and services. Companies like Disney and AAA see the value in branding at the top of a very highly concentrated pool of buyers who will be using DexKnows to be able to find local products and services. Right now we have an information page for you there which has your basic contact information and your hours of operation. But the real strength of this is to enhance its content and also elevate its placement so that we're up here in the top half of the page where the AAAs and the Disney resorts are, to let people know when they're looking for tours that you're a real player. Now, as we were looking at specific information in that Minneapolis-St. Paul market, we noticed that right now on a monthly basis, DexKnows.com has about 93 individuals going there looking for information on local tour companies. Now, that's not a huge number, as we know, but what it is a concentrated pool of buyers. And when I think about it, if I were to give you the option to come to a dinner party at my house once a month and be able to meet 90 people, all with checkbooks in hand, looking specifically to hire a tour company, would you want that dinner invite? Absolutely. You know, it doesn't have to be a huge number, and we look for concentrated pools of buyers online, as well as huge pools of people in the process of search on major search engines like Google, Yahoo, and Bing. So I think part of our conversation needs to be, how do we elevate that placement? How do we enhance the content of it to make it more winsome so that when they do find you, they have the opportunity to not only see you, but also select you and make contact. Okay, when it comes to the future strategy, mobile is going to be huge, and this I think we really need to wrap our arms around. When you think that 70% of mobile searchers call a business directly from the search results that they see on their mobile phone, that goes to the heart of what the future is going to look like. You know, you and I have lived through transitions in technology that have changed what we do. I can remember as a kid, if I wanted to listen to music, I had to put a record on the record player. And as a teenager, that became a big box of 8 tracks in my car, which then eventually became a smaller box of cassettes in my car, which eventually became CDs in my car. And now my car talks to me and says, if you like that last song, I'll give you 20 more just like it. In the future, more and more people will be finding information online. In fact, we were told this year that over half of all search is taking place now on a mobile platform. That's simply a trend that will continue. More and more search on mobile platforms and iPads and Nooks and Kindles than is taking place on laptops. So it's critical that we get ready for that. It's also critical if you're wanting your website to be found on that free site of search. When someone's using a mobile platform, Google has informed us and the market that they'll be penalizing sites that don't show well, because in fact, at the end of the day, what Google wants is a positive user experience for anybody using Google, whether it's from a mobile device or not. So I think it's critical that we make sure that your stories, your messages are all mobile enabled and ready to go to an audience that's using a mobile device. So there's a number of areas where strategy can be developed and where you can get great value as far as getting that roadmap built for your business. I really, at this point, have more questions than answers, but what I'd like to do is, before we go into any of the real specific content, have a chance to be able to talk to you about some key questions for your business so that in the end, whatever we bring forward helps you hit the goals that you want. Would that be fair? Let's talk. Okay, John, thanks again for meeting with me again. I've had a chance to go back to my office and really take in some of the key findings that you and I had in our last conversation and develop, I think, what is the beginning of a good roadmap for you to be able to develop your online strategy to be found by the right kinds of persons, the right kinds of customers that you'd like to reach. And again, the entire process that we're going through is all about your needs, your customers, and your capacity to grow. What you told me last time was that you could have another 30% uptick in your number of tours per year. The average tour for you is probably about 30 individuals. Typical spend is going to be about $3,000 per person times 30 times about 20%. So when we do the math, you have a significant amount of money on the table that's able to be brought in if we can simply identify a pool of buyers in the markets that you want to serve. You also mentioned that you have key markets that you're really trying to penetrate right now. The Minneapolis-St. Paul market, where you're specifically working personally, and then you have a key employee in that St. Louis and Kansas City market that you'd like to really support and elevate her efforts. She's got great personality, she's technically challenged, but she's got a lot of buzz going, so if we can help leverage that and increase the number of transactions she's creating for you, that would be a great opportunity for your business to start. So let's first of all, let's start with a little bit of information about us, because frankly, we're relatively new to each other, and I wanted to make sure that you had a chance to know exactly how we play. Dex Media is a combined company of the former Dex One and the former Super Media, now Dex Media. We measure our revenue in the billions. We have a huge online network of both 200,000 plus digital customers. We create millions of phone calls, millions of clicks, and billions of network searches on an annual basis. We are also one of a very select number of small medium business premier partners with Google and ambassador partners with Yahoo. What that really means is that in the end of the day, that intimate relationship allows us to help our customers get found online in ways that are meaningful to their business, that create transactions and calls, not just clicks and activity, and that we're helping those small businesses get ready for a tidal wave of change that's happening in the digital world. When you look at online revenue and the breakout of who uses online search to create transactions, of course the landscape is huge, and as we talked about last time, CostcoTravel.com is certainly one of the top names in that vertical. But when you look across other verticals like finance and insurance, retailers, travel and tourism, you'll see companies like Amazon.com spending upwards of $55 million investment into Google AdWords. Companies like FTD at $30 million or Lowe's at almost $60 million. And I guess this is, I think, 2011. Right now, Google is typically reporting $10+ billion of revenue per quarter, and over $2 billion of that is usually bottom line profit. We're in the wrong business, aren't we? We should be selling words instead of selling what we do. But what's not well known in the marketplace is that Dex actually invests north of $100 million in AdWords with Google. We're their largest online partner, we're their largest online investor in our marketplace, and we invest that not only on the behalf of ourselves, building our brand and driving transactions for our customers to DexKnows.com, but we do a massive amount on behalf of our clients, driving leads and buyers specifically to their online profile and their website. Now, there's three areas that I'd like to really sort of focus on as we develop a solution set and a roadmap for your future. First is, how do we help you get found? There's a number of product sets that can help us do that. Not all of them are right for your business, but we'll talk about a few that I think really make sense for you to achieve what it is you told me you wanted to get. And ultimately, once we help you get found, how do we differentiate you and add value to your message so that you can get chosen? Because it's one thing for people to see your website or see your information online. It's another for them to actually select it, engage with it, and then ultimately see enough value to give you the phone call. And then finally, once we've got those in place, how do we get you talked about? How do we continue to develop your online social presence and really get that warm buzz of people being able to talk about you, share you, become raving fans, and then you being able to strategically talk to them when you have something you want to say and have a percentage of them respond positively. So first of all, let's talk about getting found. What we're recommending is that we initiate a search engine marketing program, and there's really two ways we can do this, because you and I talked about if we do this in 12 months and we want to go all out, get it done, and absolutely blow into the market and own the markets you want to serve, we're going to recommend a premium search program. It's a managed program, an account manager with high-level involvement and accountability to you, high-level analytics, and a significant budget. If we're going to take a step back and do the bite-at-a-time approach that you and I talked about last time, then we're going to recommend a starter position, what we call a DN 750, and that's a little bit significantly smaller. It's technology enabled, it's also people driven, but it does give a good sense of starting point for your Minneapolis, St. Paul, Rochester market. Not comprehensive enough to reach your entire footprint, but a great starting point for that big metro to the north that you want to push into. Another thing that we're going to recommend is a search engine optimization program for edventures.com. That's going to allow us to build that online presence, the online property, so that you can get found on the free side of search in specific keywords in the Minneapolis-St. Paul market. Once that's built, and once you see the value and the transactions from that, much like you saw with that CostcoTravel.com, then we're going to want to talk about next steps. How do we do that same process in the markets like Kansas City or St. Louis that you want to achieve and elevate your visibility in? And then finally, we're going to enhance that Dex Enhance pack with more critical information, an online video, as well as elevate it so that we can be up in that section with AAA and Disney, where we can get more transactions and better bang for our buck. Second thing we're going to do and recommend is how do we help you get chosen? And that's really where how do we enhance your message online with more content? Social Concierge is a way for us to come alongside you and build out all of the key social platforms that you need to reach and then use them specifically to drive more contact with people that already know your name and help them then become raving fans of yours and send your message forward to others that they know. We'd like to make sure that for Adventures, that brand gets built out on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, and LinkedIn, especially important for those professionals you mentioned who are college professors that would be using LinkedIn as a way of sorting with their, speaking to others in their educational venue and saying, hey, who have you used in the past when you went on tours to China or India or Europe that were history or language based? Another thing that we'd also recommend is that key employee in St. Louis, wrap that same social network around her. You mentioned she's technically challenged but very social. What if we were to build out